It is day 3 quarantine for Lamar High School students. You should be working on your AMI day 4. And you can also do day 5 today because it kind of goes the two. I split them up so you could do the experiment on one day and look at your observations and then write up the lab report the next day. Or even you could start part of your lab report today and do the other half day. So, like on a normal school day, if we were in class, we did the lab the first day and we would do the question, hypothesis, methods, materials. Then you would do the lab. Then you'd come back the next day and finish doing your results and then your written results and your conclusion. So today's activity is fairly fun. It's not just sitting there reading something like you have the last few days and analyzing material, but you are actually going to get to do some observations. When it comes to observations of a lab, some of the hardest parts for people to understand is you can either observe what's happening or you can infer what's happening. And inference is a decision that you make because of an observation, not the actual observation. So if you read the beginning of your AMI packet today, it tells you the differences in between observations and inferences. And we're going to look at those differences today and then go into creating a lab report off of your observations. So all you need is an effervescent tablet, which is just some Alka-Seltzer. You can get this at the Dollar General, Family Dollar, Walmart. They are what are called effervescent tablets. They come in a little pack. I think you can even buy these at the register for like 25 cents, just the pack itself. So it's not very expensive. If you're one who is actually staying quarantined and not getting out and have the ability to watch online, you can go to a YouTube video. And I popped in Alka-Seltzer and water. It was in my search on YouTube. And it popped up several videos that you could watch. This one is one that I felt was a pretty decent one because it shows you the glass of water. And then when I go to play it, it'll actually give you the time to watch. And you can count the 10 seconds. The only thing you don't get out of this one is you have to use your senses sometimes when it comes to observations. The only one in this that you're going to get to use, not only one, but there's two, is you can use your sight and you can use your hearing. You really cannot smell what's coming off the chemical reaction. And they put in a second one, which is okay. It's not a big deal. You should be able to at least have gotten 30 seconds off of that one. So even if you don't have a Alka-Seltzer at home, it's not a big deal. Real quick, let me remind you of where to find your AMI packets. You just go down to the left-hand side of the Lamar Warriors webpage. Click on AMI packets. Remember, grab-and-go meals are today from 11 to 1. They're also going to be tomorrow and Friday. Not only do they provide lunch for you, but they're also providing breakfast for the next day. You click on the high school AMI packets. It brings up all of your subjects that you would have, all the way from math to English to science, social studies, health, fine arts, career education, distance learning, other courses of AMI. You're going to click on science, physical science. Your physical science ones, woo, let's see, where are they? Here we are, all the way down at the bottom. Physical science day 2 through 6, because you're currently working on days 4 and 5. You can just get 5 done today with 4. It tells you you're going to read Chapter 3's lab activity over observation skills. And while doing the lab, write down your observations on the attached scientific method page. And then after completing the lab with the provided Alka-Seltzer, which you can tell I was not able to provide it for you. If your parents have one, that's great. If they don't, look it up on YouTube. And we're also going to do one here with me if you stay with me longer. Create a scientific method using the provided template or writing it in your lab report. You have done 7 scientific method labs in this class. You should already know how to write a scientific method, and I even give you help and steps on how to do it. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. If you don't have your packet and you just are able to look at the one online, if you write this down on a piece of paper, hey, if you have your lab notebook and want to write it in your lab notebook and not on a separate piece of papers, that's awesome. That'll work too. Your title will just be, let's do observation skills. The date today is March 18th. Remember, you put the date, then the month, comma, the year. Don't forget to do 2020. Your question that you're going to ask yourself is not so much about observations or observation skills between observations and inferences, you're going to be looking at what does an Alka-Seltzer tablet do when mixed with water. And then you need to come with a hypothesis. Remember, hypotheses are if-then statements. So you're going to say something to the effect of, if the effervescent tablet is combined with water, then you would either say the tablet's going to stay a solid or the tablet's going to dissolve and turn into gas and a liquid. You make an educated guess based off of what you have that you know about effervescent tablets. Make sure that once you start doing it, you know the difference between observations and inferences. You're going to need an effervescent tablet, 100 ml beaker or a paper cup, a 60 ml water, quarter cup of water, notebook paper, and a pencil, which it is provided in this packet is the paper, pencil, pen. Hopefully you have at home. And it gives you your procedures, and then it tells you, remember, observations are statements made when you use your senses. Inferences are decisions you make about your observations. So let's do it real quick. Sounds good? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I've got my water here. Got my little effervescent tablet. I'm just going to open it. First thing I want to do is look at this and say, what are my observations about this tablet? I just need one. I don't need both of them. Maybe your mother might need the second one after completing today's lab with you or listening to your grumbling and mumbling about Miss Little and what she's making you do today. What shape is it? It's circular. The color's white. Really doesn't have a smell. For the most part, you don't ever want to smell the chemicals. You really want to walk them. But on this one, it's fairly safe to smell them. It's something that you can digest and it won't hurt you. Unless you're like me and you had a gallbladder attack, and these really are not good for gallbladder attacks. And so that's the only observations I can make based off of it. An inference would be something like, when it's put in water, it's going to bubble. Or something like it is a cold medicine. Or it is bought at the drugstore. Or it can be crushed. Those are our things that you think could happen, which are inferences. I just want to know observations, simple, basic skills. So I'm going to take my tablet and I'm going to put it into the water and see what happens. I'm going to use my ability of vision. I see that the tablet is starting to dissolve in the water. I see bubbles coming off of the tablet, and I know that that must be some kind of gas being released. I see that my clear water is now turning to like a mud. I don't know if you want to call it like a white. It's no longer clear. It's kind of dirty looking. I've got bubbles that are forming at the top. Let's see if I can give you a better visual. I don't know if that's helping at all. There we go. You can hear it. You can hear fizzing. There's not much of a smell coming off of it. I can waft. Nothing really has changed smell-wise. Okay. So now after about 30 seconds, you can see that my tablet has completely dissolved. I still have bubbles that are left over. So those are all observations that you can make about an effervescent tablet dissolving in water. All right. Here's the cool thing. So now you can complete your results, do your written results. Remember, written results are based off of what your results that were taken. It don't say you, I, me, we, they. It is not first or second person written. And then your conclusion needs to be about 2 paragraphs stating was your hypothesis supported? Were there any errors created? Was something that you would change the next time you create or you did this lab? Maybe would you change, I don't know, the size of the effervescent tablet? Would you put colors in? Would you crush up the tablet? See how, if you could speed up the reaction. There's lots of things that you can always do second or do another time. Maybe you wanted to change out the solutions. And do maybe it in vinegar and see what happened in vinegar, or in oil, or if you wanted to get a Gatorade, or maybe try it in Coke. Those could be things that you could do later on and see how those would change up the independent variable. But Here's the cool thing about this is because currently we are studying how chemicals are created, looking at chemical formulas, and what we were supposed to start on this week is looking at chemical equations. And so I have a pretty little chemical equation for you. So over on the right-hand side, I guess I should have said the left-hand side, which would be the left-hand side if you were writing this. Let's see, you're getting this. Break it up some. Over on the left-hand side, we have what are called the reactants. It's the two chemicals within Alka-Seltzer that make it do the bubble and the fizzing. This one is called the acetic acid, and the one that has the 3 with the Na, which we all know is sodium, is the sodium bicarbonate. When those two mix together when dropped in water, it then creates 3 CO2s, and you all should know that's 3 carbon dioxides, plus 3 waters, and 1 sodium citrate, which becomes the aqueous solution. So this is what we're going to start studying when you come back from this quarantine break from COVID-19, or what reactants and products are, and showing how the cations and the anions actually switch places in chemical reactions. So if you have any questions, if you really don't remember how to write a scientific method lab report, call me. You got my phone number, send me an email, you got my email address. Comment below on this video if you're still needing help. I am here to help you out. So I miss you all again. It's really, really crazy at home with just my 2 children. You know how much I love my children, but I'm also ready to see y'all because you are part of the joy in my day, and I highly, really do miss you guys. So stay safe, be careful, remember wash your hands. Today's work, hey, Johnson Regional Health and Rehab has set out a thing saying that they would love for you to draw pictures or to write a letter to someone that is at the rehab center. They would love to hear from you. So do that. Take the time. Write them a letter. See how they're doing. Maybe write them down a poem and send it to them. Draw a picture. There's several of y'all, and I would say your names, but I'm not supposed to, that can draw. If you look behind me, I've got several artists that exist in my classroom. This is kind of like my wall of art that students give me, and I love to display it. So, all right, y'all be careful and be safe, and I hope to see you March 30th.